Welcome to Paducah View. I'm Public Information Officer Pam Spencer. If you compare Paducah to many other cities in the United States, you'll notice that Paducah has a low cost of living. Paducah routinely has a cost of living index less than 100, actually trending in the 88 to 90 range. So what does that mean? For every $100 the average American spends, the same goods or services could be purchased in Paducah for $88 to $90. There's a similar trend for the entire state of Kentucky. We live in a part of the country where you can get quite a bit for your dollar. A factor that is sometimes used when comparing cost of living is a city's property tax rate. When you look at Paducah's property tax rate, you'll see that the city's rate has dropped significantly over the past 20 years and is in line with other cities in the state. City of Paducah Finance Director Jonathan Perkins walks us through the property tax rate and its history.
Well, the city's property tax rate currently is 25.5 cents. Now, back in 1995, the city's tax rate was 45 cents. So it has dropped significantly in the last, 20 years or so. And so when we recently ran across, when we recently set the tax rate, we got to thinking it would be kind of interesting to see how that would impact a person that owned, let's say you bought a house in 1995. And you paid $100,000 for it, and you still have that house. Well, in our analysis, we determined that if you still own that same house, because the city has every year either kept the tax rate flat or dropped it, you would have enjoyed a tax savings. Now, that doesn't mean that somebody else didn't pick it up by their levy going up, but the city's has gone down consistently for those 20 years. We discovered that your savings from the property tax would be about $3,000. So on a $100,000 house, you have accumulated a savings of $3,000 that the city is not charging you anymore. If you live in the city of Paducah, of course, you're going to get a property tax bill if you own real estate. And on your property tax bill will be the city's property tax rate. And like we said earlier, that's this year it's 25.5 cents per $100. We also are mandated by a Kentucky revised statute to collect the city's school system's tax rate. Now, that tax levy is set by the school board. We have nothing to do with that. We just are mandated to collect it. Now, there's also another entity called the junior college that we also collect a tax levy for them. Now, that along with the city's tax rate, is set by the city commission. If you live in the city of Paducah, there's a lot of confusion oftentimes over. Let me give you an example. You could live perhaps on the perimeter of what they call the old city, the West End, and your school is actually the county school district. You could, it's very practical that you could be on one side of the street and have a neighbor on the other side, and let's say your houses are worth exactly the same thing for tax purposes. But if you live in the city and you're in the city school district, then the city would collect for you. And so your tax bill would naturally be higher because we're collecting for the city school district. And by the way, the city school district makes up about 70 to 75% of our tax bill. So we collect, we get 25% of it about. Most of it we do not keep. Now in that same example, you could have that your neighbor with this exact same valued house live across the street, but be in the city, but be in the county school district. And so the county collects the county school tax. And so you could literally have the same house value, be in different school districts, yet be in the city and have grossly different tax bills that go to the city because of the school situation. The city and the county have nothing to do with that. That's all governed, of course, by the county school and the city school districts. Overall, the city, we bring in for the general fund about $31 million a year revenue. And of that $31 million, right out about $5.8 million is from property taxes. Now of that, which means around 19% of our income comes from property tax. Now, I know most people think that it's probably much higher than it really is. And probably it gets your attention because everybody gets a tax bill that has a house in the city of Paducah. Of the $5.8 million, about $4.3 million actually comes from real estate and personal property tax. And the balance of the $5.8 million is made up of vehicle taxes, local bank taxes, franchise taxes, and payment in lieu of taxes. Paducah's real estate rate actually compares very favorably with other cities. We compare our rate every year and have for many, many years with a group of what we call the 18 cities. So for example, the tax levy that the city of Paducah had in 2002, a little over 10 years ago, was about 30 cents per $100 of assessed value. While the group of 18 cities, their average at that time was 26 cents. So we were close, but not below the average. If you look at the year we just ended, which would be fiscal 13, again, at that time, our tax levy was 25 cents. But the 18 city group that we compare ourselves against, their average was still 26. So their average is actually higher than what our tax rate is. So we were below, in this particular case, being below average is a good thing.
If you would like to see more information about the property tax rate and how to figure your taxes, visit paducahky.gov and look under the Finance Department. Thank you for watching Paducah View.